Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It Fab. Guys, please remember to hit the like button for me and please remember to subscribe to my channel so that way when I have new videos or I have someone coming on, you'll be notified when that's occurring. And please, my book is out. You can read my book like right now. You know, if you're an ebook reader, have Kindle, you can get that off of Amazon, or you can order the book directly online on Amazon through my website as well as letstalkaboutitfab.com or thefabpreneur.com. So I wanted to get that out the way. But from my family to yours, happy Thanksgiving, guys. It is Thanksgiving week, and I'm so excited because after Thanksgiving, I am going on a diet, on a cleanse, preparing for the new year. There's just so much going on. I'm excited, guys. Towards the end of the year, like I told you on my last recording, I get very excited about the new year. Out with the old, in with the new. It's a time to get refreshed. I'm just ready. You know, I have a lot planned. So I have a lot to share. Hopefully I'm getting a lot of new guests, interesting guests on the podcast so we can discuss together. So guys, please stay with me. And I have I have a lot of good things coming down the pipeline. Why am I getting tongue tied? I'm not sure. Anyway, we're talking about the S word, submission, today because I'm realizing that a lot of people have a really big problem with that term, submission. It's never really been a big issue for me per se because I grew up in a culture, in a household, in a church environment where it was normal for women to submit unto God, onto the ministry, unto our husbands. It was, it's biblical. It was taught to us. We understood it, right? Um, I would say a lot of things that I've been hearing from a lot of my female friends as it pertains to submission is when they hear submission, they see this picture in their mind of a woman bound down to a man or the man having the upper hand and, kind of controlling them and being dominant and things like that. Ladies, that's not what submission means, not from a biblical standpoint and not how it pertains to our husband. Spiritual submission is actually respect, is having respect for the men in our lives that are in, the leadership role in our lives. And so it's just respect. You respect your husband as the leader of the household. He's providing security, financial resources. He's taking care of the kids. He's taking care of you emotionally, physically, spiritually. We submit to our husband as the leadership role within the household. That's all it is. It's respect. And with that, see, now this is the part that guys don't understand or they fail to understand. Submission is not something that you have to dictate and drill into a woman's head and demand. Here's a secret, guys. It happens naturally. Aha. Aha. Submission happens naturally. Once a woman feels secure, she feels loved, she's in her femininity, she's living her soft life, it happens naturally. It happens naturally. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to scream for it. It happens naturally. Now, if you're not getting it naturally, if it's not just free flowing in your home, then yes, then you have to sit down with your spouse. And you should be doing that way before you get married. Like you both should be laying out your expectations. I expect this, I expect that. And that is what it is. But I think, again, in this modern day, in this modern way of dating and marriage and things like that, it's just such a trigger word for a lot of people. I think I read somewhere where there was a bride that was getting married and she omit the portion of using the term submitting to your husband. And I think like when the pastor got to that point when they were reading their vows, like I think she refused to say it or something like that. Like, see, things like that, I think that it's just a lack of understanding. It's it's just a lack of understanding. And I feel like if you sit with your spouse and you guys talk about, well, what does submission look like to you? And what does submission look like to me? Then we can definitely have a dialogue around it and create a framework for what that looks like in our household. You know what I mean? Because in some cultures, it's tradition that a woman knows that when her man comes home, she's to do this, she's to cook, she's to clean, she's to whatever the case may be. In another household, it may not be feasible. We're both working, we're both tired, bruh. Like it can't really happen. So submission might look different for that couple in a different way, in a different sense, right? Um, I remember I remember asking a guy that I was seeing, um, based on the way he was acting, the way he handled things, the things he said, his mannerisms. I remember blatantly asking him, who's your mentor?" I asked him. I said, "Who do you talk to? Good things, bad things, happy things, life, advice, relation. Who do you talk to? Who's your mentor? In other words, who do you submit to?" Because one thing that I have learned, if a man is not submitting his life to Christ, to God, he cannot lead. And it'll be very difficult for that man to have anyone submit to him easily without him fighting and forcing it. Um, so guys, and I'm speaking to my kingdom men or men who are trying to be kingdom men here, because that's what this platform is for. I can't really attest and speak to culture because I don't really understand what's going on over there. But I'm speaking to my kingdom men and women out there who are looking for a meaningful relationship, right? A lasting relationship, marriage, right? Ask yourself, ask your spouse, ask your boyfriend, your husband at this point, fiance, who are you submitting to? Who do you submit your life to? Because if he's not submitting his life to Christ, ladies, you're going to live a very, 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 very hard life. Yeah, you're going to live a very hard life. If a man has no one that he reports to, no one that he speaks to, no one that mentors him, he's not getting advice, solid men advice from a good positive source, your life is actually in danger. Your spiritual life, your natural life, it's in danger because this man is now resorting to submitting to himself, which is scary. It's extremely scary. So, I was shocked when I learned this. Well, actually, I was shocked when someone asked me this. Well, you know, who who are our men submitting themselves to? And now, that's a loaded question because a lot of men were not raised with their father in the house. Or if they were raised with their father in the house, he was just there. Like, he was just there. Um, Whether he was watching TV or just there, not really paying attention, he was just there. And so they don't have a framework for what leadership even looks like. Like, this topic is just so loaded. It's really, really loaded. And that's why, like, I try to encourage people and I tell people all the time, like, the framework is there. God is the head of the man is the head of the woman is the head of the children. That's the hierarchy, that's the structure, guys. We can stray away from it as much as we can, but we won't start seeing successful, long lasting relationships till we get back to the framework We get back to the structure the way it was intended to be. But, you know, leadership, you will always have people submitting to you, or you'll always have your wife submitting to you when you place yourself in a leadership position where you're submitting yourself unto Christ. I didn't think, I grew up in church and it was pounded in our heads. Marry in a church, you gotta marry a Christian, you gotta marry from the church, marry from the church. There was not much of a selection. Let's talk about it. There was not much of a selection. Okay. Then sometimes we would see how some of these leaders were instilling in our young men, that like they're in charge, they call the shots, they make the rules, so we knew that the leadership there was not to be trusted, right? And it was just instilled in us, and it was drilled in our heads day in and day out. You have to submit to your husband. Wives, submit to your husband, submit to your husband. But we feel like it was never really, men weren't really taught how to lead. Leadership to a lot of men looks like you do what I say. It might have worked many moons ago when women weren't speaking up and they couldn't do for themselves, but you got women making more money than men now. You have women who are just smarter, stronger, more well-equipped than men now, who feel like they don't have to be submitted to any man. So the dynamics have changed. So therefore, it's important to have the dialogue around what does submission look like to you. The reason that I wanted to talk about this is because, I have friends that I talk to that it's a big problem. You can't use the S word around them. I'm not doing that. I'm not submitting to any man, So it just led me to, want to discuss this. Like, what is the problem? What is the fear? Fear. So, like I told you, I was in a relationship, and just by the way he was moving, the way he was talking, his mannerisms, I can tell that this was a brother that struggled with being in a leadership role. Because that's one thing about me. Let's talk about it. Let's be for real. Um, I know how to let a man lead, period. I know how to let him lead. It was pounded in our heads as young women, young kids in the church, like, women, submit to your husbands, let him lead, so on and so forth. And then I didn't grow up with my father. You read in my book. My father was deceased since I was 12. So I wasn't raised with my father. And so I could say leadership is something I craved. Definitely I craved. And then it was instilled in me that I should allow a man to lead me. Oh, I meet anyone, I'm just like, woo, lead me, brother. But then I realized that there's a lot of men who don't know how to. Because I realized every time either they don't know how to, well, yeah, they don't know how to. And they definitely weren't used to it. I feel like a lot of guys sometimes are like used to like getting pushed back and fighting and but I know with me and with a lot of females that I know, we make the room. We leave the platform open. Lead. Show me. Because you got to understand this, guys. I'm not just going to follow any old body anywhere. Okay? Show me the plan. Even if you have a plan. I have a plan. I want to do X, Y, and Z by X, Y, and Z. That's great. But show me the play by play. Show me the playbook. Show me how it's going to happen step by step. Because it's not enough to just lay out the plan. You got to show me the steps. And I feel like a lot of men are leaving that to the women, aka you want to go out to dinner, okay, make all the plans and I'll pay for it and I'll show up or whatever. Your woman might be looking for you to initiate, hey, let's go out to dinner. I'll book the reservations, get dressed, meet me here, I'll pick you up at this time, so on and so forth. It's leadership. And the other thing that I learned is, a lot of people don't want to hear this, and I've said it to a girlfriend of mine before who really hated when I said that every time. But I told her, I said relationships are really a bit of a business transaction. And what she heard and what I said, it probably didn't come out right, or we just didn't understand each other. But what I was trying to say is that the way you treat your business, the way business works, you have to bring some of those traits into a relationship. A relationship has to be managed. It has to be managed. It can't be just left to, okay, let's just say we own a fast food chain of restaurants. You have to plan things out methodically. Like, it's Monday, we are serving pizza and tacos. How much, a month before, a week before, 2 months before, how many people are we anticipating serving today? How many tacos do we need to have? So on and so forth. Like, relationships need to be managed just like a business. And I'm not saying like a business where you take the emotional aspect out of it, you take the love out of it. I'm just speaking from the standpoint of you have to have structure. Just the same way children crave structure. Like, I'll tell you right now, my kids can't stand me, and I wish I had a checklist next to me right now. But anyway, I went on Temu and I bought like this little checklist, like this board, this plastic board, and it has these buttons that you slide to the left, slide to the right, and there's an X or a check mark. So like, and there's like grids for like 10 different things to do throughout the day. And as they do it, they slide it to the right. So I know that it's done. It's done. It's done. One, I had to do that because I have three young kids, and I was just tired of yelling at them all day. Get this done, get this done, get this done. So I got a checklist. So now I'm like, here's your checklist, get it done. That's it, right? They didn't like it at first, but they're excited about it because it gives them structure. It gives them a framework. There's a tangible piece that, like, okay, get up, make my bed, brush my teeth, eat breakfast. Like, and they get excited to check it off their list. And I'm just like, that's just the way it works. So the way kids really crave structure, women crave structure in our relationship. We're doing this today. We're not doing this today. We're going here tomorrow. And taking the initiative and the leadership role to follow through and be consistent and make sure it happens. And I'm not here like, okay, bashing the men and telling, I'm really trying to give you like some game. Like, women really crave structure in our relationships. We crave that. I think it was, oh my God, her name is at the tip of my tongue and I can't remember her name. Jill Scott. Remember that meme with Jill Scott that went viral? She was like, look, if a man could tell me what to do, then a man could tell me what to do. But if a man can't tell me what to do, then he can't tell me what to do. At first, I didn't understand that. I had to read it, listen to it a couple of times, and I was like, I know exactly what she's saying. If you have the girth, you have the guts to tell me what to do, then you could tell me what to do. If you have the balls to take the initiative and be consistent and lead, then you can lead. But if you don't, then you can't. And that's when women have to get into their masculine to get things done. And I think that's the part that we don't want to do. Like, we're over it. We don't want to do it anymore. You know, we don't want to do it. It's tiring. We don't want to be in our masculine. We want to be soft. We want to lay back and feel relaxed. So, the moral of the story is, fellas, you don't have to demand women to be submissive. Just lead. She'll follow. I promise you, she'll follow. And even if she gives you, she fights you on it or whatever, trust me, she'll come around. But she has to see and feel secure, loved, respected, protected. She has to feel safe. And brother, I will let you lead. Okay? She will let you lead. And ladies, don't be afraid of the word submission. It's not what you think. It's simply respect. If a man he's doing what he has to do, he's taking care of you, he's loving you, he's providing, he's securing. I mean, allow him to lead. Follow his lead. Trust him. Give him a chance. You know, this is what I mean. We're never gonna make it. We're never going to make it if we don't have these type of dialogues and have these conversations and allow each other and give each other grace. Like, give each other grace. Yeah. So guys, that's all I had for you today. I hope this helps in some way. I'm just going to keep creating this content. At some point, it'll definitely reach the right people and help at the right time. So let's submit ourselves one to another. But primarily, let's submit ourselves to God. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.